Zuck. Speaking of property, people is mad at Zuck. They said, Zuck, we not happy about this. We not happy. And I said, why y'all mad at Zuck? Why you mad at Zuck? The people in the community that had an opportunity to control what happened in the community is mad at Zuckerberg because he buying up all of the homes in the neighborhood. People always getting mad at Zuck. You know what I'm saying? But he out here in these streets and he doing what he doing. He's shaping the world to be in his image. And he's buying up all of the homes in the neighborhood, and all of the neighbors is outraged as a result of it. Let's dig into it, y'all.
This morning, one of the world's richest men, tech billionaire Mark Zuckerberg, at the center of a neighborhood drama. The Facebook founder allegedly piling up properties in Palo Alto, California, miles from Meta headquarters. A New York Times report finds Zuckerberg has bought at least 11 homes in the affluent Crescent Park area, spending more than $110 million to create a compound for his family. That includes multiple guest homes, a pool, pickleball court, and even a private school for 14 children that may violate the city code. The Times said it reviewed city and state documents and spoke to 9 neighbors, including 7 who asked to remain anonymous. Underneath it all sits 7,000 square feet of space that building permits call basements, but some neighbors refer to as a bunker. Zuckerberg has also built underground on other land he's been buying up in Hawaii, describing it like this.
I think that's just like a little shelter and it's like a
little shelter.
I do have an underground tunnel.
Do you really?
Yeah. People are saying I built this like bunker underground. It's like more of underground storage situation.
Peter Balte was a member of the Palo Alto Architectural Review Board in 2016 when Zuckerberg asked for permission to demolish 4 homes.
There were rather odd designs. One had a large basement for some meeting rooms or some kind. It just wasn't residential in nature. We ultimately rejected the project.
But Zuckerberg revised his plans to avoid needing approval, according to The Times, a pattern residents say of finding loopholes. Since Zuckerberg moved to Crescent Park more than a decade ago, they also say the disruptions have been endless. Construction blocking roads and driveways, security surveillance even on public sidewalks, and noise from the couple's massive parties. A spokesperson for Zuckerberg and Chan telling The Times they value being members of the community and have taken a number of steps above and beyond any local requirements to avoid disruption in the neighborhood. But many residents are still frustrated, saying the compound has changed the tight-knit community.
Having a community where you see your neighbors, where you say hello to each other, that's something that's core to Palo Alto, and that's what's being pushed away at in Palo Alto today with this situation.
So, Liz, what are the neighbors hoping for at this point?
Yeah, Savannah, so one city council member who lives close told the New York Times there needs to be a change to the actual code, arguing it shouldn't allow one person to take over an entire neighborhood.
What are they doing? They said it's too late now because he's already started implementing his will. But what are they doing? It's similar to what I just talked to you guys about in this last section when I said that when you start to get involved, how you get zoned, how you get coded, all of that type of stuff, everything is controlled by local government and the city council. However, when you're talking about a billionaire that has unlimited money and unlimited resources, let me tell you what the smart people did. The smart people sold. It's just the facts. I know we obsessed with billionaires. We obsessed with why they're building underground bunkers. For me, I don't really give a fuck. Like, honestly, I'm more concerned with my own family, my own objective, my own goals, what I got going on. I'm not really caring about what billionaires is doing unless I'm using them as a blueprint so that I can continue to run a bag up for myself. So I genuinely don't care. But the smart people that knew that they can't compete, the thing about shout out to my white people and my snow hairs. Older people and snow hairs, older white snow hairs and snow bunnies, they are vigilant when it comes to their community. You know, this used to be an environment where I used to speak to my neighbor, and I used to do it, and I used to see him come through, and I say, hey, Bob, how's it going on the lawn? They vigilant in the community. Black people only complain when they think that their property is going to go up, or they don't own any property, and so they feel like they're being pushed out. Everything being gentrified. There's more white people in here. I remember when it used to be the hood. You hated living there. You tried to move out. You couldn't move out, so you moved back into your mama's childhood home, and you've been squatting for a long time. So black people and white people is a little different. Black people, a lot of times, you only see them majorly complain when somebody is coming in and they're changing the fabric of the neighborhood. And man, where's all of these white people? It used to be so cultural. I see that happen here in Miami. Yeah, gentrified. They love the word gentrified. I seen it happen in Miami. Wynwood, for those of you that are from here or that is familiar with the Miami spaces that I'm in right now, Wynwood used to be different. Man, I remember when the Wynwood walls was free. You could be able, it was so gritty. It had a feel to it. You know, you would come in and you didn't know whether or not the music was gonna blast your clothes off and you was gonna get robbed, or you know, the people are what made up Wynwood. And Wynwood used to be hood. It used to be the get low. And it's right across the street from the design district in Midtown. So what did you think was going to happen? Now they got Wynwood is starting to look just like out my window right here. Wynwood is starting to look just like that. Starting to look just like out my window. That's a fact. Because they got the Dave's hot chicken over there. They still keep the fabric of it, right? So they keep the whole graffiti theme and all of that, but they got high rises over there. They building them all kind of crazy and stuff. They cleaned it up. They got food trucks every weekend, you know. They got all of that over there. They got all of that over there. And so it's just different. But the people go, man, you know, I remember when Wynwood used to be different. Now they pricing us out. Nigga, you never was in. You never lived there. Black people kill me always complaining about property that they don't own in the hood that they love. Don't own one piece of land. I remember in Detroit, they used to sell lots back in like 2008 or whatever. And they gave priority to the person that lived directly next to it. So let's say, for example, you got an empty lot next to you, or it was a house that was demolished and abandoned. And so they gave the people that was next to the property an opportunity to be able to buy the property that was next to them. So they would give them first dibs. That was just the law. They gave them first dibs, but you could buy it for like $500. I kid you not. Them days is over. Them days is way over. But you used to be able to buy a lot that used to have a house on it for $500. I kid you not. It was already bulldozed. It was already over and all of that stuff. Now, all the white people came in and they bought up all of the stuff. And so the person that was saying next door, man, I don't want that lot. I'm going to just park my cars on it anyway. And so the white people came in and they started, Asians, Californians, Floridians, Texans, they came in and they bought all of that shit up. And now they starting to build homes on it. Man, this is crazy. That house wasn't there. That wasn't there. Man, look at this. Brush Park is different. Have y'all seen Brush Park? Have y'all seen Brush Park? Oh, man, I got to show it to you, bro. I got to show it to you. It was nothing in Brush Park. It was nothing in Brush Park.
Detroit marking a major milestone for a transformative project in Brush Park. Today, city leaders and communities celebrated the completion of City Modern, a mixed-use development including housing and businesses. 7 News Detroit reporter Demetrio Sanders has more on how the project is adding vibrancy to the neighborhood.
Those involved with City Modern say this is a project 10 years in the making, bringing plenty of excitement to this neighborhood that was once vacant. Born in Brush Park and now chair of the Brush Park Community Development Corporation, Mona Ross Gardner remembers what the neighborhood was like years ago.
A lot of drugs.
That's what it looked like. Let me show you.
Mona Ross Gardner remembers what the neighborhood.
That's what it looked like in Brush Park. Actually, it was 10 times worse than that. It was 10 times. Listen, this picture, even though this is old, this ain't old like the 2010s and the 90s. Because I'm looking at Little Caesars Arena. And before they built Little Caesars Arena, it was nothing. It was nothing over there. It was vacant land. It was buildings that was falling down. It was old. It was messed up. I explored it. It was tore down in Brush Park. You could get land over there across from Little Caesars Arena right before you hit downtown. You can get land over there for nothing. Nothing. It was nothing over there. Listen, I told people a long time ago, I said, bro, the Midwest, Detroit, it's crazy over here. People don't know, man, ain't nobody, you gonna lose out, bro. That's where all of the money is. That's where all of the opportunity is. It's insane, bro.
Who it was like years ago.
A lot of drug use, abandoned houses, dilapidated homes everywhere. There were very few people that actually lived here.
Which is much different than what it looks like today.
Lots of life, lots of youth, lots of creativity.
In 2015, Bedrock started work on City Modern, a development bringing 450 housing units, rehabbed houses, 31,000 square feet of retail space, and 20 brand new buildings to Brush Park Thursday, marking the project's completion.
Yeah, it's a little surreal to be out here sort of standing in the project and experiencing it.
The housing includes 340 apartments, 54 affordable homes.
It's different, bro. Like the whole fucking city is crazy now, bro. The whole city is just evolved. It don't look nothing like when I grew up. It looks nothing like how it was in the 2000s, 2010, the 1990s. It's a whole nother space now, bro. Honestly, man. It's just different. It's way different. The festivals is different. Everything is different. Downtown is different. It's booming. It's a lot of people everywhere. Yeah, bro. It's crazy. It is insane. Everything is new. Developers has got skyscrapers and cranes all through the city and stuff like that. A bunch of people is moving in. I'm like, what is happening down? And it's great to see, honestly, because to have lived through what we lived through, they redoing Greektown now. They tow up the whole street, making the whole thing walkable instead of having cars driving through there. I said, what? It's crazy, bro.
Homes and 105 for sale units. Bedrock developer Jonathan Mueller says the development helps connect the city and encourage.
Who owns Bedrock? Dan Gilbert. What does Dan Gilbert own? Cleveland Cavaliers, Rocket Mortgage. When Dan Gilbert moved his company into the city and he started moving all of his employees in there, I knew it. I said, yo, it's going up, bro.
Future growth.
There was quite a few breaks in the urban fabric in Brush Park, and I think a big part of the thinking here for Bedrock, along with the city and the CDC, was we needed to do something that would be transformative, that would lead others to think about doing projects in Brush Park. And really, that has proven true.
And the owner of Lania, a Spanish-inspired wood-fired restaurant in City Modern, says when he thought about where to bring his business, Brush Park checked all boxes.
The idea of walkability and density, it was the idea of...
These are the people that live in Detroit now. These are the people, honestly, when I walk down and I go past Copperfield and all of these restaurants and stuff, these are the people that live in Detroit now, bro. They look just like this. Or it'd be some white woman walking her dog or something like that, walking her puppy. It's insane, bro. They are bubbles. All of that junk is revamped. It looks crazy. It's not the same, bro. The Hudson's building. Four years ago, it looked way different. Today, it looked insane. This is what it looked like 7 years ago.
Well, it was October 28th, 1998, the biggest building demolition in Detroit history.
New. Well, it certainly would be.
Yes, and in fact, it's one of those things where there, the Hudson wants to know what it was.
Girders jutting from the parking lots.
This is what it looked like. It just looked like a parking lot. This is literally the designs that they have for it now. It looked like a parking lot. This was the Hudson's building. It was nothing but a parking lot back there. All of that was just a parking lot. Crazy, bro, how stuff changed.
And now part of the building is welcoming guests.
And how beautiful it is. We've been watching Hudson's Detroit reshape the city's skyline for years, becoming one of the tallest buildings in the state. And tonight, we're getting our first look inside the department, which is that smaller structure attached to the giant tower.
7 News Detroit anchor Simon Shakad got an exclusive tour showing how the venue is achieving a world-class experience while holding on to a sense of nostalgia for so many Detroiters.
Here at Hudson's Detroit, you can feel the nostalgia everywhere you look. Right now, I'm standing in the kitchen. Have been working on for years.
Now that's what it looks like right there.
Kitchen called the department, part of
all of that is right there on that parking lot that was there 7 years ago. Everything changes, bro. Everything, and if you don't get on it, honestly, if you don't start to jump on things and be able to see the opportunities that come with it before they transform it and shit, then you're just gonna get left behind. Then you're gonna get left behind, honestly. And so now I'm getting invitations so that I can go and check out, and see if I want to purchase the penthouse or condo inside of the Hudson's building, because it's going to be sitting right next to the GM building, because all of the GM headquarters is moving in there. And so, a lot of people just get left behind, and then they complain, oh my God, I can't believe it. I don't know what's going on.